plus 2 is 8, so we're going to have negative 4. 8 plus our negative 6. So the next part of our order of operations is to multiply those two together. So we have negative 4 times 8 is negative 32, right? Because the rules for positives and negatives is if you have one negative, it's negative when you're multiplying. Then we have plus a negative 6, and negative 32 plus negative 6 is negative 38. Okay? What's going to make some of this hard is that you do have to remember all of your rules for adding, subtracting, and multiplying and dividing. Okay? All right, so let's look at the new way that I'm going to show you today. I'm going to talk about why there has to be another way, but I want to prove it mathematically so that you understand that what we're doing today is the same thing as this. Okay, so if you look at the next slide, it's the exact same thing as this. All I've added is this new idea of distributive property. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this one. All right, and what distributive property says is it saying that you're going to take this number and you're going to give it to each term on the inside. And again, I'm going to do this multiple times. You don't have to understand exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'm going to say negative 4 times 6. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. Then I'm going to take negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8. And notice I kept the plus sign. Okay, then I'm going to keep this part plus the negative 6. So negative 24 plus negative 8 is how much? Negative 32. Isn't that exactly what I got on that side? Negative 32 plus negative 6. So negative 32 plus negative 6 is negative 38. So do you see that mathematically it's the exact same thing? Yes. Nope, because that's like I owe you money and I owe you more money. I still owe all that to you. Okay, all right, so our learning goal today is to be able to understand how to use the distributive property. Okay, the student will understand how to expand expressions using distributive property. Okay, and then I'm going to show you a little video about that, so don't click on that because otherwise it'll start playing on yours, and then I'm going to go through some of that.
Distributive property. I'll let you know. King money lost values more than jewels above all else. One day the king's first steward brought him 5 gold bars and 1 precious diamond. His second steward entered the court, also bringing the king 5 gold bars and 1 precious diamond. Moneylust's third steward, never one to be a trailblazer, followed suit. In he came with 5 gold bars and 1 precious diamond.
Red day.
Because Moneylust is a busy guy and hardly has time to sit around and count all of his riches, is there a shortcut he can use to determine how many he has of each item? You betcha. Because we are dealing with 3 occurrences of the same data, we can write it this way. 3 times 5g plus d, where g stands for a gold bar, and the d stands for a diamond. The stuff in the parentheses represents what each steward presented to the king, 5 gold bars and a diamond. And because there were 3 of them, we can multiply the whole thing by 3. To simplify this expression, we can use distributive property. In other words, whatever is on the outside of the parentheses, we can multiply by each term on the inside of the parentheses. 3 times 5g equals 15g, and 3 times 1d equals 3g. So we can rewrite this expression as 15g plus 3d. Moneylust was a tad displeased when he realized that his stewards had only brought him 15 gold bars and 3 precious diamonds.
That's it. From now on, I'm hiring interns.
He punished them by forcing them to solve this problem. What a jerk.
All right, kind of silly, but hopefully that helps you understand distributive property a little bit. Really. Okay, so with we have 8 groups of x minus 4. So we're going to use the distributive property. So we're going to take 8 times x. So if I have 8 x's, I have 8x. Keep the subtract. And what's 8 times 4? 32. Does that make sense? Okay? No, does not? Or yes, it does. Okay. All right, so the next one, we have negative 5. Okay,
So you replace the X with an 8.
I didn't replace it. No, that was just like he said, 5 gold bars, and we had the diamonds. So this would be like, if I said X was diamonds, he had 8 diamonds, so 8 X's. Okay, all right, next one. Okay, this one gets a little trickier. So I have negative 5 times y. So negative 5 times y would still be negative 5y. Okay, here's the tricky part though. What have I taught you to do with all subtraction signs? Change them to what? And then change the next one to subtraction. Didn't we say, what was our little saying? Same, change, change, right? Same, change, change. Okay, so now I have negative 5. So I'm going to put the plus sign in. What's negative 5 times negative 6? Negative times a negative is a positive 30. Positive 30. That's when these get tricky, is when you get all your negatives. All right, next one. So this will be a times 3. How would I write a times 3? No, go ahead and switch them. So it would be 3a. The number always comes in front of the variable. Always. It's just like a period always goes at the end of the sentence. It's the same kind of thing. Okay, all right. Then I have a subtraction. I can change that if I want, but I don't have to because this is positive. I changed it here because I had a negative and a negative. Okay, so now I have a times x. And here's how I'm going to write that. I'm just going to write a times x. That's it, because I don't have to put a sign in there. It's just multiplication. All right, questions on that before we keep going? We're going to do lots more of this until it starts to make sense. All right, next slide. All right, so let's look at that first one and help me decide which one of these, 1, 2, or 3, is going to be the correct answer. Jenna, you think the third one? All right, so we're going to take a times 2, so that would make 2a, and then a times b, and I'm going to keep the plus sign, so plus a b. Very good, so I would agree with the third one. All right, look at the next one. What do you think that one's going to be? You think the first one? All right, so this would be 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Keep the subtraction because this is a positive. 5 times 4 is 20c. So that would be the first choice. Good. Okay, let's look at the last one. Chef Warren's point. There's 3, 4. People. 5, 6. All right, Zeke, what do you think? You think the second one? All right, let's try it. So this is a negative times a positive, which means the answer has to be a negative. 1 negative. Remember our rules? 1 negative is negative. 2 negatives is positive. So this has to be a negative, which means there's no way it's 3. Okay, so negative 1.4x. Now, you're taking a negative. What is this really? A negative. It's really a negative times a negative, which is going to make it negative times negative is a positive. So we're going to have another positive. So we have negative 1.4x plus this times this would be a positive 0.06. So it's that first choice. Except the positives and negatives, I think, are what are really going to hurt you guys on this. All right, go ahead and look at the last one we're going to try today. I'd like you to try this one on your own, and then we're going to go over it, and then we're going to do a lot of practice today. All right, so let's look at this one. Okay, what is 1/5 times 5? 1/5 times 5. Oh, we're going to do a bunch of fraction work this week. That'd be fun. Oh, look at that, Sam. Okay, so that means you have a pizza with how many slices? And you have 1/5. How much do you get? 1, okay? Or you could come out to the side and do 1/5 times 5, right? Just like that. You can do it old school. And then that would be what? Negative 5 over 5? Oh, sorry, they're both negative. And that would make it 1 whole. And a negative times a negative is a positive. So this times this. Oh, wait, what am I looking? Hold on. Oh, sorry. This one times this one would be 1m. And it'd be a positive, right? Jenna. I would not do that because not all fractions go to terminating decimals. And so that's only going to work when they terminate. So we need to be able, you need to be able to take 1/5 times 5 mentally. Like that should be a mental fraction. Okay, and then we're going to take 1/5 of 10. Now do that mentally. What's 1/5 of 10? 2, yes. And would it be positive or negative? Negative times a positive is a negative, okay? So what we can do is we can either do this, right, plus a negative 2, or which one of these is going to be the same thing as plus a negative? Is this the same? Is this the same? Yes. You're going to have to get good at that. That is the same thing. This is the same thing mathematically as that. Okay? All right. We are going to do a bunch of practice on this. So what I want you guys to do